It's the Movie Toasty Show, here for you. Dennis and Adam joke about orgasms and sweet movie reviews. We talk about TV too, right?
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah! Movie Toast.
Hey.
What is up? Episode 217 is here, Dennis, and there's so much stuff I'm excited to talk to you about. But how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I too am excited.
Nice.
I am actually very much looking forward to all of my reviews this episode. And no spoilies just yet, but I have a lot of good things to say, which I'm excited for that. So
I'm happy to hear that. About the same, yeah. I've seen all the movies you're reviewing, so I will actually jump in like an asshole every now and again, but I'll let you do the heavy lifting.
Sounds it's always good, man. I like a twofer.
Give the folks
I like a tag team review. Yeah.
Run for their money that they
There you
don't
go.
spend on the show. That we spend on the show, I guess.
Wait a minute. Well, that's backwards.
Yeah. But speaking of backwards, let's start forwards with the news segment, I suppose.
Gather round, folks, it's time for the scoop. 2 your ears in, let's join the loop.
Yeah, news me, Adam.
All right, up first, Adi Shankar, the showrunner behind such Netflix animated series like Castlevania and Devil May Cry, is now developing a Duke Nukem series, and I am jazzed for this, man. What's your take on Duke Nukem?
I've only ever played a little bit of the original DOS game, and I've seen many clips of that last Duke Nukem Forever. I remember playing the demo for that one, and it was so god awful.
Oh, it's oddly. I go back to the N64 one, played it way too early in life. But it's engraved in my brain.
It was an informative time period like that. That was
so many innuendos, so many things blatantly right there.
Oh,
but
God,
honestly, I feel like the time to have such a brazen character would be now, I think, because he literally is the embodiment of what's wrong with, what's going on in the world right now.
Oh my God, there you go. Actually, it's like you did hit it on the head. I was actually about to say, I don't think this is the right time for a character like this because you're reinforcing all the things that kind of piss me off about society. But as long as it's understood, it's satire, like it originally was when it came out. But it's the same argument why like people don't understand Sonny is satire and that Dennis Reynolds is a piece of shit. And he should not be like idolizing this guy. But I digress. This does sound cool. After setting all that aside, if you told me 10 years ago this is something they're going to try to come up with, I could see it happening. But even now, with the technology you have, you can really sell a lot of the effects. Because let's be honest, this is a wildly effects heavy storytelling scenario here, much like
I'm sure it will be like an animated show like Castlevania and Devil May Cry, but the fact that they're pushing, it's action packed, it's going to be gory, it's going to be intense, and it's going to be R-rated, I would assume. Like
it should be bloody, violent, sexy, and funny all at the same time. Like
I picture like a badass version of Johnny Bravo kicking ass, essentially.
I want it to be John Cena so bad.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, he was born for that character. He has the comedy chops. He has the body, the charisma, the charm, the likability to bring an asshole to life. I mean, he's already doing that as fucking Peacemaker.
True, but there's a naivete with Peacemaker that he so believes in what it is he's doing. Oh, you know what? As I say that, although he doesn't have the physical presence, but it's like the attitude of John Bernthal put into Duke Nukem's body. Actually, there you go. If it's an animated, I'm sorry. If it's an animated,
no, you're good. And speaking of our John Bernthal talk, last episode 216, we mentioned that he might be joining Spider-Man, and that's finally confirmed. So we were right about one of the two that we spoke of last week. That always feels good.
Hell yeah.
When I read it, I was like, oh shit, I never in a million years expected an R-rated badass character to join Spider-Man. I could see the Hulk, but you had the wherewithal to be like, if anybody, it's gonna be Punisher, not Hulk.
It's New York. It's they've been adversaries, I think, a lot earlier than a lot of the other characters. They've crossed paths back when Punisher was actually a villain. Yeah, no, that's gonna be so fucking cool. But
I'm jazzed.
But yeah, I'm with you on Duke Nukem. I think if it's animated, it makes way more sense. You can get away with everything and go full blast.
Adi Shankar said it's essentially going to be an FU to people, because normally if you do something like this, you're bogged down by studio notes and everything, but he'll have the freedom to do whatever he wants and not be like held back and restrained.
Nice.
So that should be nice.
That'll be cool.
Speaking of being held back and restraint, Green Room director and Rebel Ridge recently, the director of Rebel Ridge, Jeremy Sellner, will direct Succession star Corey Michael Smith in an A24 movie called October. The plot of the movie is under wraps, but it's being described as a fugitive-based thriller set during Halloween. I like that director. It's an interesting premise.
Right. I guess it's one of those we'll just have to see. I mean, original IP. I'm thankful it's not like based on whatever thing. Ironically, I know we literally just got done talking about fucking Duke Nukem, but as a movie, I think movies have got such a bad rap these last couple of years. I mean, more than the last couple of years, mostly because of, I'll be honest, it's lazy people that don't want to bother watching all the movies that are out there. Good on you, A24. Give us something we haven't seen before. I'm assuming horror. Bring it on.
I would think so. Yeah, something like that. I like the thought of a fugitive being out there on Halloween while kids are out there and people are partying and anything can happen, essentially.
All he's got to do is put a mask on and start wandering the streets, and like, how would you know?
Right. And I don't really know the actor much. I recently saw him in the HBO movie Mountainhead. He was pretty devious in that. And I guess he's probably a devious asshole in Succession, probably. So why not someone like that as a fugitive, I would assume. But yeah, sticking with IP, because we love to talk about IP over here on this show. DC and James Watkins has finally cast Clayface with Guy Ritchie's Star of the Gentleman, an actor named Tom Rhys Harries. I don't really know him very much, but he's a young hunky guy, I guess. So that's what they're doing.
Which is, it's so ironic. I love this trend of like, so we've got Star of the Bear, who gets all this like attention because he's regarded as a handsome man. He's playing a hut. Now here we've got this guy who's supposed to be this young handsome blonde dude. He's playing Clayface. Like, that's why
I love this picture I chose. I think it's from Harley Quinn. He has this Elvis look, and it's like open shirt. It's like, okay,
right, fucking Miami Vice suit on. Like,
but I will say, from this picture, this guy has this like kind of Skeletor type face, and it could be malleable. Who knows?
If you're going off of like the animated series, like that inspiration for the character, he was a handsome, talented actor. That was his origin. Yeah, like that's so. All right, I've been curious about this project ever since it was announced. So bring it on.
Yeah, we'll see what the hell's going on with that.
Yeah,
but what I really found interesting in the press release, or whoever leaked the information, James Gunn, he mentioned that him and Matt Reeves are very excited about this. So it leads me to believe that this movie is most likely taking place in the Matt Reeves Batman universe, opposed to the DC universe that they're building right now. So it's a little confusing.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that was the whole deal, right? When DC Studios started bringing on all these big name directors, everyone gets their own piece. Like, we're not going to do the Marvel thing, but at the same time, we are going to still do a little bit of the Marvel thing.
Yeah.
But not here, or here. Not with our two biggest fucking moneymakers, Batman and Superman. And then we're going to give the villains their own things over here. They're going to have nothing to do with this over here. I mean,
it worked in the Penguins case. Everyone loved that show, it sounds like.
If it wasn't good, then they would have proven it wasn't working. Except that the show was fucking fantastic. I loved the Batman movie. That was fantastic. I'm intrigued by I'm not a big Superman fan, but this movie
Yeah.
does look really interesting. So
It definitely has its own unique style to it, which
yes,
could be good.
right,
But I'm just hoping it's not James Gunn doing his James Gunn comedy bits and just overly comedifying it and making it kind of like
right.
essentially
I
like
feel
what
like I
Taika
haven't.
did with Thor.
Yes. I feel like at least in those cases when these directors would make a film that has laden with that much of the comedy, there's a lot of heavy tells in the trailers and the advertising, and I feel like I haven't picked up on much of at all of that yet.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that
And I will
stays
say,
consistent with the film.
Gunn is good at putting heart and soul into his work. So that's the
Yes.
upside. There's always that human uh, relatability to his stuff. So yeah, we'll
And
see.
he doesn't have nearly the weight of the studio sitting on his back like Marvel. I'm sure Marvel Studios
He
and
is the
Disney
studio at this
would
point.
have. Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
you want them to have the reins so that way you do get to make a good movie. Guess what? People
Mhm.
like to see good movies.
What?
Even if they are even if they are based on properties that we've seen things based on them many times. If you just let them tell a good story, then you're going to get something fun.
Yeah. Well, speaking of James Gunn, star of the very successful James Gunn trilogy, Guardians of the Galaxy, Dave Bautista is in talks to join Jake Gyllenhaal in your favorite movie,
Oh boy.
Roadhouse. The
Oh
sequel to
boy.
Roadhouse, being directed by Guy Ritchie, is now going to co-star Dave Bautista. Yeah, that's going to be great.
Mm,
I don't know why,
mm.
but
Can't he just go be Marcus Phoenix already, please?
I
Let's just
mean, that
go
movie is gearing up. I mean, it's gonna most likely happen if
gearing
he's
up.
not cast. Oh,
There
pun
you
not
go.
intended, but I'll take it.
I appreciate it here. Yeah, I don't. I
Yeah.
Adam noted, couldn't stand the first one. I do not see the point of a second one. Because of
Mhm.
the long running Roadhouse series we already had in the 80s. Oh wait, that was one movie.
Well, in the mid 2000s, I guess we'll call it mid 2000s, they did make a sequel to
The
Roadhouse
the
straight
'90s.
to streaming, I think.
Oh
Uh,
oh God.
so I saw that pop up a few times when I was researching some stuff. I'm like, great. So yeah, we'll move on from that. Poker Face star Natasha Lyonne is set to play legendary comedian Joan Rivers in a biopic titled Can We Talk? It's being written by The Office and Mythic Quest writer Amelia Gillette. It's said to have more of a storyline that will lean into the chaos, wit, and pain that made Rivers so beloved. I feel
That's
like
cool.
her as this kind of cynical comedian could be really good. She has
Yes.
that vibe.
She has, yeah, I think she can capture the tone and that Joan Rivers is hilarious.
Oh yeah.
I'm on board with that. That sounds great.
Heck yeah. So
That's great talent
hopefully
attached
that
to a
all
very
pans out.
interesting person. Yeah.
And I feel like she'll do it justice and actually do the work and not just try to be her. She'll bring a character to life
Right.
opposed
It's
to
not
just mimicking.
exactly. It's not an impersonation. It should be getting to the root of trying to find who she was and
Mhm.
revealing that to us. So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Good for
Yeah.
her.
And Chris Columbus is producing an upcoming adaptation of A Christmas Carol that's being written and directed by Nosferatu director Robert Eggers. And it's note mentioning that he is looking at Willem Dafoe as Ebenezer Scrooge. I feel like
Oh,
that's pretty good casting,
yeah, that's great, actually.
right?
Has he? I'm like, wait, I guess he hasn't. I don't remember him doing it
It feels
before.
like something that should have been done by now.
Right?
All the
If you told
adaptations
me
we've
he's
seen,
done this on stage somewhere, 100% I
right?
would believe you. So I think that's a perfect pairing.
And
Dang.
like just Eggers has that kind of old school vibe. He loves to work in period pieces. He really brings the period out in everything he does. And
Mhm.
Defoe is just such a powerhouse performer. I feel like why the hell not?
Oh
And
yeah,
Chris Columbus, talented director in his own right.
knows knows a thing or two about some Christmas tales. So nice. Oh,
Just
cool.
got to get a little Kevin McAllister in there.
I don't know why I was thinking of just whenever I see the 1942 intro, I always think of the opening of fucking Jingle All the Way. That's
Mm.
like
the Turbo Man show
episode.
playing,
Yeah, the show play.
Booster
Yeah,
Gold playing out there. Fuck
right.
yeah, fantastic.
Oh man,
Good stuff.
lovely. All right, yeah, looking forward to that.
All right, up
Nice.
next, now that the Karen Reed retrial has ended, it's already been announced that she is getting her own biopic. This time it's coming from a production company behind the Whitney Houston biopic, I Want to Dance with Somebody. And it's going to be setting around the court trials, and it's going to have portrayed the journalist Aiden Canary, aka Turtle Boy, who was heavily involved in the trial, and he's going to be involved in the development of the film. I don't know too much about it. I mean, I know it happened literally a couple towns over from me, and everyone's talked about this court trial, so makes sense to make a movie out of it. But fresh, quick.
This isn't the lady that faked her own kidnapping.
No, this is the woman who dropped her husband off at like a co-worker's house. He was a cop or a boyfriend.
Yes.
He got murdered, and they blamed her, and she got
hit her with the car on the snow. Yeah. We watched like a couple, like a Dateline and a whatever the ABC,
like a Hulu docu-series or something.
Yeah, we watched a couple of those and like this just sat like it just seems obviously
it's screaming for.
It seems like she did this. She killed her husband. Why are we still talking about this?
But a lot of people say possibly she didn't, and recently she was just acquitted and proved her innocence. So it'd be interesting to see which way the movie is going to be pointed.
I mean, at the end of the day, she's going to be making some money off this. So,
oh yeah, that's for sure.
Wow.
But I just feel like they literally just announced that she won her court case like less than a week ago, and they're already like, "Our movie's happening." It's like, fuck, that's quick. But I guess the world works that quick.
Man.
Speaking of quick, Disney is going back to their roots, and they're going to start doing some 2D animation movies again, because recently at the Annecy Animation Film Festival, Walt Disney Animation Studios Chief Creative Officer Jarrett Bush announced that he loves 2D. Right now, we have 2D artists who are working on some bonkers, amazing things, and I'll leave it at that, he had to say. So hopefully that means we're going to get more classic like Disney animated movies, not just these Pixar knockoffs. I don't know. I'm intrigued. It's been, I want to say, 14 years maybe since we've had one. Winnie the Pooh, I think, was the last one.
Oh, I thought it was Princess and the Frog.
Possibly. I think Winnie the Pooh came after. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but it's been a while.
Must have been pretty close to each other. Yeah. But I mean, it's funny because after those were done, I feel like Disney was like, all right, no more, never again. That's done. And thought,
everyone's
how can you
say,
like, how can you say never again? I don't, that doesn't make any sense. Especially when like adult 2D animated television is still has been going straight. It's not only still going strong, but has only grown. More networks have now like tried to adopt that into their lineup. Like there's never it's our generation now is those of us who have kids are taking their kids to the theater, seeing these things, and these movies aren't what they, what we enjoyed. So honestly, I totally see that.
Had young like cousins' kids or like younger kids in the family come over, and you put on like an older Disney movie, and they're like, "Oh, this is old because it's not CG." It's to them that's old. It's kind of like I was watching something black and white. So hopefully this means like maybe that might change that perspective for the next generation.
I hope so. We need to keep these actual on-hand creative storytelling alive, because this is exactly what would get taken over by AI and shit and and that's we gotta keep this art alive. So
hell yeah,
good for them.
It's an art right there. And speaking of Disney, after directing The Incredibles and Incredibles 2, it looks like Brad Bird will not return to direct Incredibles 3. However, Pixar has tapped Elemental director Peter Schoen to bring the next Parr family adventure to the big screen. So this guy's won many awards, and he's a member of the Pixar family, and I think could be good hands to leave this franchise in.
Right, like you're not straying too far away.
Yeah,
although a different tone, but
totally
not to say that they're not going to be able to grab a hold of that. But it's
Right.
also kind of too bad. I mean, I think the first Incredibles I still think is one of the
Oh,
best.
it holds up.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
It's funny. For years, everyone's talked about how great it was, and I'm like, it's not that good. And then when Incredibles 2 came out, I'm like, let me give it another watch. I'm like, oh, I see. Like, it's so
yes.
intricate, and it has such a rich mythology, breathtaking animation, and just
Oh,
so much
that
going on
art
for it.
style's
So smart. Oh
gorgeous.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like the failing in vibe of like the 50s and 60s, but yet in a modern, sleek look.
Yeah. I like that they're not afraid to include that atomic era vibe to
Mhm.
everything, but still live in modern day United States. Like it's yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
So
We'll just have to see how it plays out.
right. And funnily enough, that you just were talking about AI ruining animation. A collection of Chinese studios recently announced that they have intentions to use AI technology to reimagine roughly 100 classic martial arts movies. It's being dubbed the Kung Fu Movie Heritage Project 100 Classic AI Revitalization Project, because that's not enough to say. And the studio plans to focus on films made by Bruce Lee and other martial arts legends such as Jackie Chan and Jet Li. Ting Ming, the chairman of Shanghai CanX Culture and Media, announced an initial fund of 100 million yuan, which is roughly $13.9 million, has been invested in different AI animation companies coming together to start this. And apparently, they're going to use it to kind of bring back some of these movies and kind of make it look nicer, richer, vibrant. But the downside is they're also using it to remake movies. Like John Woo's 1986 movie, A Better Tomorrow, is going to be completely reimagined in UI with Chow Yun-fat's character as an anti-hero who's cyberpunk. So you're taking a kung fu
Oh.
movie and making cyberpunk movie out of AI. I'm like,
Oh.
well, you just lost me. I was on board
Yeah.
for cleaning up old movies, but doing that.
Yeah. Exactly. No, see, when you after you started describing it, I'm like, okay, if they're just like bringing these old films up to like 4K, I'm like, you know what? I think I could be okay with that. But no,
Yeah.
don't give Bruce Lee a cowboy hat and fucking don't give Jackie Chan like disco fucking suits, sir. I don't
Just
know what
hearing
the
that,
fuck. What are
it
you gonna?
reminds me of like seeing like a spoof movie on like The Simpsons. Like they would be mocking a movie like
Yes,
that. And
yes,
it's like,
yes.
oh,
Oh
ha,
my
that'd be
god.
funny to watch. But actually seeing it like realized and actualized, I don't know why. Why put that much money? Put that much money into making new kung fu movies that will become classics.
Or just go back and rewatch Fist of the Drunken Master or any
Sure.
number of fantastic kung fu
Yes.
movies that have come out of China that people still watch to this day.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like an expensive cash grab. It's not like a quick like
Yeah.
let's turn this over. Like that sounds intensive. So
Uh-huh.
I guess
100
we'll
movies
see.
roughly.
Oh god, yeah, no thanks. I don't.
Yeah. Well,
Ooh.
to freshen our palates, I got some good news here, Dennis. Now
Oh,
that
thank you.
Warner Brothers and Discovery are splitting up, David Zaslav is getting a big reduction in pay. And that's just beautiful to hear because Zaslav is like a monster.
Let's keep the money going into the movies, or pay your crews and hire enough
Mm-hmm.
people to make your movies. That would probably be a
Yeah,
good thing.
I think so.
Bring movie making back. That would be
Yeah.
nice.
Don't
Good
just,
Lord.
I don't know, get rid of everything and take more money for yourself. Because he was up for a
Right?
raise and the board decided, no, fuck that. You don't deserve it. And it's like, thank God they're starting to step up to this man.
Because hadn't they started to do that? They've done that previously already, where they laid off
Oh,
a
yeah.
whole bunch of people and then gave themselves
That's what
bonuses.
they do. That's how they get
Damn
their
it.
big salary increases. They fuck everyone else over because they don't make enough money. The
Aren't you
millions that
glad
they
we went to
have.
film school?
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad that I'm working a dead end job that uh, doesn't have anything to do with the industry. Fun times. Anywho, the upcoming Ryan Reynolds produced adaptation of the classic arcade game Dragon's Lair now has a director in sight. The Muppets director James Bobbin is set to direct this action adventure film.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
It's because
looking
it's
forward to
not
that.
like it shouldn't be take itself too seriously either. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of cheeky in its own like tone, at least what I remember. I remember seeing the old competition series Starcade, one of the rounds they would play was everyone had to play a game of Dragon's Lair and high score on that. And it just, the visual style of it was so cool. That sort of
Don Bluth did the animation, legendary artist and cartoonist.
I mean, it's gorgeous. And then I've never seen, especially at that time, you've never seen an arcade cabinet game that looks like you're watching a feature-length movie as you're playing it. There's no interface. There's no heads-up display. You're making decisions on the fly. It looked really cool. And this, I think this is a type of game that translates very smoothly into a narrative storytelling format because it was already trying to. So
I think so, yeah. And James Baldwin, he did a lot of the episodes of Flight of the Conchords, Ryan Reynolds. I feel like these two together can make something really special, hopefully.
You know, when Ryan Reynolds gets attached to something, like, he takes it very seriously. Oh, yeah. Like any of his 100%. Other business ventures. So
he really takes pride in his work and cares about it and has that passion behind it as if he was the audience. And that's what's lacking in most of current day cinema. It's just people making things because it's a paycheck.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, up next, Glenn Powell will star in a new firefighter drama from Backdraft director Ron Howard. It's going to be about polar opposite childhood friends who are now elite firefighters, and they have to rekindle their friendship that was fractured when a series of deadly fires sweep across Texas.
Okay.
And some people are thinking this could be a sequel to Backdraft. They're not sure since there's that Ron Howard connection.
Oh,
and
Ronnie,
Glenn Powell has done Twisters, and he's done Top Gun Maverick. It's like, is he just our guy who does sequels to his legacy?
Backdrafters.
Right.
Re-backdrafted again. I don't know. I mean, like, I don't mind the guy. He does some solid stuff at times, and then does things at times that are just like, like you doing. I mean, I remember Val, like, she said she didn't even finish Twisters, and then told me, like, she's just straight up just don't. I was like, yeah, that's what
silly. I had a good time watching it, but it's silly. If you like the original, I don't know how much you'll like that one. But if you're like me and you don't care about the original much, it could work.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to just pretend Backdraft didn't exist, I'd be like, okay, this sounds interesting.
Sure.
But given the pedigree of the director and the movie he's already made, I'm a little worried that is the case here. Just make a cool firefighter movie. There's been great ones I think every few years. There's a good firefighter movie comes out. Sometimes you get some not so good ones. Sorry, Angelina Jolie.
Sure.
Sorry. The hot shot, not a firefighter, although they're kind of.
You get it right, man.
You got to do some.
They're just fighting.
You need to know.
Fires.
Well, you need to know forestry stuff too. Like you do need to be very familiar with that, and jumping out of airplanes.
Yeah,
parachute.
A little more skill than just hopping in a truck. Little different. Not to say firefighters don't have it rough.
They're just different. They're just different scenarios. Like
they're both fighting fires, doing the Lord's work.
Right, saving lives.
Yeah, they're doing stuff that most of us can't do.
Right. Well, all right. We'll check it out.
Well, speaking of things we can't do, Dennis, we're never going to direct a James Bond movie. But now that the acclaimed filmmaker Alfonso Cuarón, who was in the top running to direct the next James Bond movie, he's pulled himself out of the candidacy. Now there are 5 top candidate directors coming, and those 5 directors are none other than I've lost my notes here. Sorry. Let's see: Edward Berger, Jonathan Nolan, Paul King, Denis Villeneuve, and Edgar Wright. And it looks like, of course, Berger directed All Quiet on the Western Front. Nolan has revitalized and rebooted Westworld. King had found a lot of success in making Paddington something people care about. Denis Villeneuve, of course, has made Dune a smash success. And Edgar Wright, I mean, he's done some action movies like Hot Fuzz. And I would love to see his take on.
There's no denying. I mean, that's fine. Like, to be honest, I think Edgar Wright would be who I'd be most excited about. But as you said, the director of All Quiet on the Western Front, I mean, that is easily one of the greatest, like, World War I movies ever fucking made now. That was,
and he just came out of making a movie called Conclave, or releasing Conclave, which should be one of the boringest movies about people choosing a pope, but he made it thrilling and just so nerve-wracking. So if you made
it sound fantastic. Yeah, it's
great.
It's still on my fucking list. I haven't Haven't hit it yet.
It's over on Peacock. But I mean, now they each have, like, I could see Nolan doing a great job. I could see Denis Villeneuve doing a fantastic job. Like you said, Edward Berger, fantastic. But what's very interesting about Paul King and Edgar Wright, maybe they're going back to the roots and making more silly, old school style, screwballish, cheesy James Bond movies, which
the Roger Moore, early Sean Connery, not being afraid to kind of have the quips and like the, you know, having the quick line of like the thing that so many action movies have then taken from so many James Bond movies, that now James Bond doesn't even want to do that shit anymore. It's funny, like, you're right, like that would be interesting to see if it does come back to more of the classic formula, because I'll be honest, I still like watching the classic Bond films.
There's a reason why people can go back and rewatch them so many times and enjoy the hell out of them.
When you devote that much attention to incredible production value and your locations and your original score, like all of those things that seem to be on the outliers of what you're looking at actually are what sell you the world you're in. So, and
what you just said, selling the world and crafting that world, Edgar Wright and Paul King do fantastically with their films. They have very distinct styles, sets, editing. Everything about what they do is exactly what you just said. And that's not to knock these other guys who are great at doing action movies.
Yeah. It's just simply stylistic comparisons. But I'm with you on, on those guys. That's, this will be interesting. And there's still so much to settle on what the next chapter is going to be, what story the next chapter is going to be. So this is going to be an interesting story. This is we're going
to talk a lot about it over the next few episodes.
I'm here for it.
For sure. Speaking of something people are here for, Mindhunter was a show people loved on Netflix, and it got canceled out of the blue and never actually fully finished its story. And star of Mindhunter, Holt McCallerney, I always say his name wrong, recently was talking with David Fincher, and he found out that Fincher is interested in doing 3 separate 2-hour movies over on Netflix, and the scripts are being written right now. And as long as the scripts are good, Fincher wants to jump in and make these movies. And I think that would make fans happy.
Hell yes. Even if it's just to tidy up the end of where the show left off, I would be extremely satisfied with that, because the show was very goddamn good. From episode 1, I remember we were just so sucked into it. And where it left off, it's just gut-wrenching that it just stops there. And especially if you know the history of the killer they're emulating that they were about to start following, it's about to just get absolutely fucking bonkers. Oh my god. I read a little bit about the pot, like the rumor was they might be kicking this thing back on, and yes, that would be absolutely wonderful.
And let's talk about the fact 3 movies, 2 hours each, that's 6 hours. That's like one final season of a show, because those were long shows. And it's like, why did Netflix cancel it? Like, everyone loved it. I wonder if it's budgetary reasons, COVID, I don't know.
I think with a mix of budget, and there seemed to be a new show every other week at that time between Netflix, and I think Hulu was starting to kick off with a lot of that stuff. Was that I don't think Apple Plus was
they were just probably starting as it was winding down, I think.
But there was or Amazon, like the main streamers were all just throwing shit on their stuff as fast as possible. And I think this was just unfortunate because it didn't initially have those numbers. I mean, I guess we won't know because they don't fucking tell us any of that information. I want to say there was another couple of big things that it probably just barely skipped underneath. I mean, wasn't this
Collateral Damage, I guess,
right after the last season of Arrested Development, or right before? I want to say it was
probably right around that last final nail in the coffin.
There might have been a few I think there was just a few other things that just sucked up a lot of the attention, and like anything else, it appears on paper, this is doing the worst, then forget it. But I know the fans,
and let's face it, David Fincher doing a show, that's some money right there, and it had that cinematic style and listen to it.
Every episode looked like a movie.
Makes sense.
I mean, it's as it should. Like the just And that cast was wonderful. Those guys
they were great.
They killed it. That was also an intentional pun. You see, folks,
hopefully
they look for killers through their minds.
Whoa.
They learn about their minds to find the killers.
But what I love about what Fincher had said was the fact that the scripts have to be up to par, because that's the fact that he's not just going to jump in to do it for the sake of making a paycheck.
Yes.
He wants to actually enjoy what he's making. I respect that. Kind of like what we're saying with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, and that should always be the reaction. I feel like with him, you kind of expect that sort of answer, but that should just always be the case, you know? So
yeah.
Nice.
So we'll see. Hopefully some news comes out soon. He's waiting on the scripts. Speaking of scripts, Cobra Kai creators John Hurwitz, Hayden Schlossberg, and Josh Held are leaving Miyagi-Do and returning to White Castle because they're bringing their stoner duo, Harold and Kumar, back to the big screen once again. A lot of people don't realize they were the ones who invented Harold and Kumar. They wrote the first movie, directed the second movie, and so forth. And now it's finally, I know for years they were talking about doing an animated series on Adult Swim. That never materialized. They've been wanting to do another movie for years, and now seems to be the perfect time that they have a schedule open for this. And who doesn't want to see this?
I'd be down. It's like these guys are still talented performers. They both.
Oh yeah. They've only gotten better over the years.
Exactly. Agreed. So it's like, oh, are they too old to do this? No, because I think all it does is kind of change what pace. They're still the same guys. They just, they're not smoking quite as much anymore. Like they're just not eating as many sliders as they used to.
Normally, movies go on, they get worse as they go. I really loved Guantanamo Bay, and I was surprised by a very Harold and Kumar Christmas. Because normally when you make Christmas movies in franchises, they go downhill. But that's a movie that really nails what they're doing. The fact that they've been separated over time and they're brought back together in this joyous occasion, and they rekindle that excitement. And now they're old enough to have their own kids and go on their own adventures and whatnot.
It had great cameos, unhinged comedy.
Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh, God. Danny Trejo playing his father-in-law.
The father-in-law, yes.
He loves his Christmas tree. Where's the tree?
I'm excited for this one, man. Not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, me too. Those guys, they're still fun movies to go back to, and why not? Let's give them a shot.
Hell yeah. And I don't know why I always think back to the original movie when they're pulling up to that one shady fucking burger joint and you have fucking Anthony Anderson talking about the special sauce. Or when they're at the ground. Or they're at the hospital talking to Ryan Reynolds about like where the nearest White Castle is. So much. So many random
marijuana. This is a hospital. We don't have marijuana. No, you're right. That is so funny because it was so out of left field to have. God, and then what year was the first one? So that was like right around Waiting.
I want to say 2004, 2005-ish, maybe, give or take.
Oh yeah, so right after Waiting then.
Waiting was I think this was probably right around Van Wilder. That's probably why it was there, because what's his name was in there as Taj.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. That makes sense.
Yeah. Speaking of comedy movies people love, finally getting confirmation Spaceballs 2 is finally happening. And not only the fact that we're getting Mel Brooks and Bill Pullman back as Yogurt and Lone Star, but we're getting Rick Moranis back as Dark Helmet. I haven't seen him since fucking
he's coming out of retirement
Brother
for this.
Bear.
Yeah.
He turned down Ghostbusters.
And then
he's coming back for this.
What's her name? Diane, not Ziegler, that plays Princess
Vespa.
Yes, I think they just announced she's coming back too,
and they're bringing in new blood.
Yes,
we're getting Lewis Pullman coming in as Lone Star's kid, and we're getting Keke Palmer in here too. It's like, okay, and a lot of people are hoping and praying because, of course, Josh Gad is writing this. They're thinking he's going to be like a spawn of like Barf. Like, okay, maybe I don't need it.
Oh my God,
that'd be cool.
That would be great. His like illegitimate kid. Yeah, I haven't seen my dad in years. That'd be great. He's just got this like dip in his shoulder. Like, yeah, I've heard of the adventures of Barf. I hate that son of a bitch.
And the
No,
fact
that would
that
be
by the time this
wonderful.
movie comes out, Mel Brooks will be 100 years old if he's still alive. Mind blowing.
God,
And the
that's awesome.
fact that I don't know if you watched the video of him announcing it, he's so fucking spry for a 98-year-old man.
That was so sweet and wholesome. I just like, oh my God, I'm so excited for you that you finally got to do this. Not just the fact that we get to then watch the movie, but I mean, it's funny. I actually put it on today because HBO was like, hey, remember this thing's coming out. You better go back and hit it again. You know what? Still laugh my ass off.
That's the thing. I loved it as a child, but in high school, one of my classes showed it, and I'm like, oh, this movie is not as good as I remember. But now I'm like, I gotta go back and rewatch it. I was probably just being an asshole high schooler.
It's that, especially then we're getting a refined film taste.
Yeah.
You know, like
But I mean, I remember when we first talked about the fact that we found out that Josh Gad was writing it, there was a lot of talk about who's going to return, how can you do this without Rick Moranis and that.
Right.
But the fact that they're coming back is a little bit more of a relaxing breath to just like take that sigh and say, okay, we're in good hands, hopefully. Something's going right.
My question though is the comedy, the humor, are they going to take it as far as they were willing to go back then? Because if they nerf it too much, it's not going to feel like anywhere near.
I think they have to. I mean,
you have to.
Why wouldn't you? And the funny thing, on our last episode, we talked about what movie was it? The Care Bears movie being directed by this director. I forget the director's name, but I'm blanking because I'm an idiot and I didn't do my research here. But the director that's doing the Care Bears movies is doing this. The one that was just hired doing it. And it's like, okay, cool. Interesting.
Nostalgia. He's just getting those nostalgia flicks left and right.
Oh yeah, you gotta do it. But what I really like is it seems like spoof movies are making a comeback. Like we're getting Scary Movie with the Wayne's back. We're getting fucking in a month or so. We're getting a new fucking Lethal Weapon. Fucking
Naked
Squad.
Gun. Naked Gun.
And now
what is that? There's the bidding war for Texas Chainsaw to get remade. You know, like it's funny. Although we're shitting on like not like too much IP getting remade and stuff, but it's I hate to admit, when you put it in the right hands and you give it an honest, fresh enough look, okay, then you've entertained me. I can't argue with the fact that like, all right, you just gave me a good movie, you know. But you gotta deliver. Gotta fucking deliver.
Yeah, you gotta have the goods.
With those names, with a lot of these people we just talked about, it's hard. It's hard to think we'll be disappointed. It's hard to imagine that being the case. Especially when a lot of these same names, a lot of the same people have done a lot of films that aren't in a series, that aren't recycled IP. So they have the chops. They can apply all of that to, even if the story does exist, they can make it their own. So
hell yeah.
Baseballs, bring on the Schwartz.
Hell yeah. I think what they're saying, possibly titling, of course, would make sense for the reboot or continuation. The Schwartz Awakens. Force Awakens. So I mean, so timely, only like 12 years late, but hey, why not? At least we're getting there, folks.
I mean,
hopefully
even when that
that
movie came out, they were making pretty old jokes. Like they were making Star Trek jokes in the original.
Do you remember back when we were in college? There were reports of like, I want to say in like New York City in the subway that there was Spaceballs 2 banners and stuff going up, like, and people were wondering what the hell was going on.
Yeah, because wasn't that right before they like re-released it, and the animated one or something?
Possibly
some animated Spaceballs thing.
Yeah, there was like Spike TV did that then, but this was after that. But maybe that's
it
was coming on.
You
know what
sense.
I wonder?
What's that?
A little bit of nostalgia. I wonder what Haberman thinks. Like, you think he thought he was in line for something like this? We had a teacher that is quote unquote friends and eats lunch all the time with Mel.
I have lunch with him every week.
That's his whole life.
Mel.
Just because he wrote Dracula Dead and Loving It. Mel.
His greatest movie. He wrote his greatest movie, and I'm like, which one? Oh, Dracula. You know, the Leslie Nielsen classic. I don't think Leslie Nielsen remembered he was in that movie, by the way. That or the other Mel Brooks classic that everyone knows and loves, Life Stinks. Wait, which one's that again? That's right. Not Robin Hood Men in Tights, not Spaceballs.
Nope.
Not
nope.
It's Mad Men Mad World.
Nope. Not a History of the
Not
World.
History of the World.
Uh,
Not Young Frankenstein. Not the producer. Not Blazing Saddles.
No, none of
Have
the
we missed
classics.
any?
Oh
shit.
man. Yeah. So I'm excited, man. I feel like it's we're in some good hands, I think.
Especially since it's coming from him, his camp. Like
Mhm.
he's gonna approve, as as updated as
Oh,
script as
hell.
it can be. He's gonna sign off on it. So
Yes.
show me your Schwartz.
Heck yeah. So that's going to do it for us here. Now we can move into our second segment of the show, polls.
What you got for us, pole dancer?
Well, Dennis, you are on the pulse this episode because you recently just were talking about the bidding war for people coming on board to direct the next installment of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which we talked about on episode 216. So I wanted to know who the Toasties thought would be the best choice out of the following candidates to remake the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Jordan Peele, Taylor Sheridan, Oz Perkins, and Glenn Powell.
An interesting selection.
Oh,
here. Hey now, oh hey,
yeah. Sorry, because we talked a lot ad nauseum about what we felt on the last episode.
Yes,
but where you at? I think we both kind of agreed. Jordan Peele for me, I think
for a horror I think straight horror chops. Jordan Peele, although I could see a solid version coming from Taylor Sheridan as well, because the guy has made some gritty as fuck, raw, rugged films that were very entertaining to watch, that I would be intrigued to see what he would do with it. But I'm with you. I would want to see what Jordan Peele would do with this property, because he's already shown many times over just how incredibly talented he is behind the camera.
Right.
Yeah, I did. That's done. All
right.
that's where I'm at.
So let's see where the Toasties are at. 0% for Jordan Peele.
You know
I don't understand that.
I'm done.
One iota.
I quit the show.
Yeah, fucking get your shit together, Toasties. Do better. Oh boy. And then 0% for Oz Perkins, director of The Monkey, director of that very chilling Nick Cage movie, Longlegs. 2 movies people really talked about.
Yeah.
Toasties didn't like him enough.
Wow.
All right.
Maybe
now are we going to get another 0?
I swear to God, if it's 100% to Glenn Powell, it's like, you realize that doesn't automatically mean he's in the movie. Like, that doesn't include
producing it.
He's not walking around.
He is Leatherface, hot Leatherface.
Right? Yeah, fucking greasy abs and like.
Oh yeah, swinging that chainsaw around.
He doesn't wear a mask. It's just him with the chainsaw.
They just add like they make him even sexier with the makeup. It's like what?
Somehow
33% for Taylor Sheridan, Dennis.
Oh my
67% for Glenn Powell. We can, but the audience says, fuck what you two think. You fools.
Glenn, no offense. Obviously, you look at the history of the other directors. I'm not sure. What has Glenn Powell directed?
I don't think he has directed anything.
I don't think it should be the first
he has been behind the camera with so many talented people. He's probably picked up some tricks, and that's where we get some fine directors.
That is very true.
I mean, like you said, he might not be in it. He might not direct it. He could possibly just be behind the scenes. Like we said a couple of episodes, Ryan Reynolds wants to make an R-rated Star Wars, but he doesn't want to be on screen. So this could be the similar situation, but time will tell, I guess.
And is that not reminiscent of what I feel a lot of people's reaction to hearing Jordan Peele directing his first movie? Where it's like, wait a minute,
he's a comedy guy. How's he going to do that?
Why is he doing this horror movie? And then look at where we're at now. And now it's like you can't separate him from that thought.
Yeah, you can't think Jordan Peele and think, oh, that guy from Keanu, the guy from Key and Peele. You're like, oh no, the director of the 3 best horror movies of the last 20 years. Yeah.
Exactly.
So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we might find out who is going to be making this movie, or will it get shelved? Time will tell, I guess.
That's
Up next,
and
Dennis.
that one, it's
Yeah.
always a possibility too. So
That's yeah. On episode 216, I reviewed the latest Ana de Armas film from the world of John Wick, Ballerina. So I wanted to know what the Toasties' favorite Ana de Armas movie was out of Blade Runner 2049, Knives Out, No Time to Die, and Deep Water.
it was Deep Water, the Justin Timberlake one.
No, Deep Water was a fantastic movie. I think we both reviewed. Ben Affleck and her were in a weird cuckold type of situation.
Oh,
terrible movie.
That was
yeah.
Oh God damn it! My brain was like trying to block it out until you
trying to give it a little bit. Like you thought by saying that Justin Timberlake movie was bad, and then this was even worse.
Yeah, then I'm oh God, I want to forget it.
I remember the trailer being like, "This movie looks sexy. How could this go wrong?" And then I'm like, "That's
yes." Oh my God, I remember thinking the same thing. Turns out Blade Runner way sexier. But out of those, for shit, I mean, for her, probably Knives Out would be my choice.
Right?
I like that story. Even the whodunit is like people have mixed feelings about those, especially now that we have two kind of congruent series that are getting regular films made, which I enjoy them.
All good.
Yeah, that was a great first chapter for this. This now,
it was so good. Every movie that comes after it is a Knives Out story.
Yep.
All right, so let's. I think I'm going to be with you. I'm going to go Knives Out or No Time to Die, but I feel like she had. Yeah, Knives Out would be for me. But the Toasties have spoken, Dennis.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, a little bit more intriguing in a part of the story. 0% for Deep Water. So at least the audience is with us for one vote.
Faith is slowly being restored, Toasties, and he lost it. And you
29% for Knives Out.
Just kidding.
29% for 007, No Time to Die.
Okay.
And 42% for Blade Runner 2049, a movie I watched and wondered what I was doing in the theater because I hated the first one and I tolerated this one.
She's not in. It's like I just don't feel like she's in enough.
Right.
The second Blade Runner for this to even like register
fully
against
count
the other. Yeah, like I get why it's there, but especially when it's so funny. All the advertising, her face is like all over the trailers,
all over,
and it's like oh wait, she's just a fucking ad within and a voice. Like,
was she the one that talked to Decker, like or Gosling?
Gosling's character. And wasn't she the voice of his AI like girlfriend voice in his apartment?
I think so. Yeah.
And then she's the ad that he talks to while walking down the street. There you go.
I guess that did it for the Toasties, Dennis.
We get more Jared Leto in the movie than her, but okay.
We get Morbius. It's Morbin time for that fella.
I mean, shit. We get friggin' we just talked about him for Roadhouse 2.
Batista.
Batista's scene was fantastic in that.
He had like a blade blade fight, right? Like actual physical.
He's in his little in his greenhouse, and he's just trying to live a little peaceful like life, and that was badass. Like that was cool.
You know what? I'm coming around to this movie, remembering it more. I think I liked it.
It was good. It was good. I liked the first one too, though. But I also
another Denis Villeneuve movie.
There you go.
And this is what he did right before Dune, I believe. This is what 007 could be, folks. Blade Runner 2069.
There you go.
That was bad. Sorry, folks.
I like it.
All right, I'm done. I'm done with these polls. So that leaves us with our next segment of the show, the main course of the show, folks. A little thing we call reviews.
Nice camera action, it's review time. Dennis and Adam, we gonna blow your mind. We're stepping up to the plate, ready to swing. Analyzing movies like a scientist would bling.
All right, man, you're blinging up first with the movie I reviewed a couple of episodes back, but I want to hear what you had to say about a little movie called Warfare.
So this is going back to that recently released A24 war film that takes place during the height of the war on terror that the United States was involved in 2006. As stated before in the previous episode, this is telling the story of a specific Navy SEAL unit that was sent in to support a Marine unit that was pushing this front line. And one thing leads to another. They get surrounded and now have to get the fuck out. It's got a beautiful like visual style. I want to say beautiful in that it's very unflinching, it's very gritty, it's dirty, and just the way it's kind of presented, but it feels so raw. And I feel like they did a great job of putting the audience in the house with them.
Yes.
Our main cast, Will Poulter, fucking amazing again, and Osmo Jarvis, and Joseph Quinn. The three of them, the way they carry
almost
themselves,
unrecognizable the way they look too.
Yeah, I had to stop a couple times. Like, wait a minute. I mean, I know I saw a name go by. Really, it's like, holy shit! They really like these guys really put themselves into their roles for this film. The pace of it is fantastic. I love this sort of. The start was hilarious. I love that they're just like,
partying it up.
Watching the beginning of some like cheesy porno, and it's like, it's like when work is that hard, the off time is going to be nuts too. And you go from that like high point to them silently walking through the streets, kind of cracking jokes, to that incredible ramp up to when they're in combat. I mean, the movie was stellar. This is exactly the kind of thing we end up going back and rewatching. I've now got Val doing it the same as I have, where there's certain like war films we just enjoy kind of going back and watching again, like Fury. We probably watch like twice a year. Like
that's good.
Fuck yeah. This movie, honestly, to me feels like one of those I'd put in the rotation alongside things like Fury or Saving Private Ryan, or many films like that I enjoy. I mean, it's brutal, but I feel like it's telling the story in a very honest way, even if obviously the details of these events are not pleasant, but the reality of what we were sending people in to do, and a very good reminder of what we don't want to be doing again right now, that it looks like unfortunately could be happening again soon. So highly recommend it. I'm going to give Warfare well, let me double check my notes here. I'm going to give Warfare 3.5 slices.
Nice.
It was a stellar movie. I had a great time watching it. Well worth it. I ended up purchasing it on Amazon Prime. Renting it because I was just like, screw it. After everything I've heard, especially after you, Adam, your review, I'm like, I firmly believe I'm going to enjoy this. Ray Mendoza killed it. And Alex Garland.
I mean,
these guys.
This is his story.
Yeah.
And can you believe this is Alex Garland's follow-up to Civil War? 2 war movies back to back. Different sides, but just so immersive in visually.
Immersion. That is it right there. That style, the cinematography, even the dialogue. Like I mean, a couple times, some people may call it a mark against, but I like that I had to kick on the subtitles a couple times. Not only because there's so much chaos and I can't hear make out what they're saying. Sometimes they're talking so quiet, not wanting to be heard by the enemy. That's why they're whispering. And you could fuck with they could have done the sound mix a little different, but I think it lends itself to the film to go from that quiet. It puts the audience into that, like, you're trying to hear, and then a bomb goes off. Like, it's what they had to listen to also, And
it was real time and like a pressure cooker like nothing else. Ultimately.
Yes. That Bradley just fucking smoking the second floor of that. That's badass. Oh my god. Right. Yeah. So if you haven't checked it out yet,
I'm happy that you were not let down by it. I was afraid. He purchased it. Maybe it might have gone south for him. I don't know, but I'm happy it worked.
Oh yeah,
for sure. All right. Up next, I have a movie called Materialists. So this is a pretty simple story, I guess you could say. It's about a high-profile New York City hotshot matchmaker who's perfect at finding love for other people, but her life, unfortunately, is in shambles. And then one day, while she's at a client's wedding, she meets the man of her dreams, a rich, wealthy, successful man who has eyes for her. And at the same time, she runs into her ex-lover, who she still kind of has a little bit of a spark for. And this cast is great. I'm not going to lie. You got Dakota Johnson as our main lead. And as the rich, handsome gentleman, we have Pedro Pascal. And as her not so rich, floundering, struggling actor / waiter ex-boyfriend, Chris Evans. And let me tell you, the movie itself, beautiful looking. It looks so good. And this was directed and written by Celine Song. She is more of a stage director and writer.
Oh, cool.
She had a movie years ago called Past Lives, which was one of my favorite movies of that year. It was beautiful and gut-wrenching and just something special. And I was so excited for this movie, especially after watching the trailer. And it had that old rom-com style like voiceover, and it just played like a rom-com in the trailer, and I was sold. However, marketing is very decisive because that's not the movie we got at all. This movie is more of a melodrama. It's more of a look into the just terrible nature of people just wanting looks and money and not love, really. And it really makes you look at all different things. And great cast. Like I said, Dakota Johnson, Chris Evans, Pedro Pascal. And these people have done great jobs in the past, but the script is so tightly written and tightly directed, it feels like they're robots just delivering lines, and it's just on top of them. And it kind of played more as a stage play, and it was rough, man. Like I was so hoodwinked by this, and I will say everyone kind of it's interesting because normally in these movies, one guy's kind of a charming guy, but he turns out to be an asshole, and the other guy's really the good guy. But in both cases, both these guys are delightful and they have great intentions. And our main character, the female character, is more of the flawed character, and she even admits she's not a good person because of her intentions. And it's interesting watching. You know that there's more of like, I'm trying to show you how elite people are and this and that, and fuck the rich and this, and it's like, I don't need that. I just want it fun.
Sounds more like they're trying to make like an old Audrey Hepburn or Jimmy Stewart movie. But
interesting you say that, because I recently listened to Celine Song on a podcast, and apparently the inspiration for this came from the fact that she was a matchmaker for a little bit, but the lens that she put on this, she told the cast and crew, she looked at this more as a film noir, as you got coming in. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. That's an interesting premise. Why didn't you make that movie? I would love to see this type of weird film noir movie, but it didn't feel like a film noir to me. But it's funny that you kind of those actors in that time period.
Yeah.
I honestly was kind of let down. And this movie was only an hour and 49 minutes. And I felt like I was just like, when is this movie going to end? It's just never ending. And it had this pretentious opening of like the first people to fall in love, get married, these cavemen and women. And it's like, fuck you already. And I will say, Chris Evans is giving one of his best performances here. He has this solid monologue at the end. Pedro Pascal is giving a pretty good monologue. And then you got some good lines that Dakota just given. They're doing the best that they can with the direction and script they got. Fortunately, it just didn't work for me. I'm going to give Materialists 2 slices of toast, and I feel like that's slightly more generous than I need to be. But
fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll be in a rush to add that to the queue, unfortunately.
No, I would definitely wait till it hits Max. It's an A24 movie if you're interested. But I will say, some people are loving this movie, so I'm in a minority, but a lot of people were pissed off like me that they were promised a rom-com and they got something different.
Yeah. It's okay. Pedro Pascal's only going to be in 40 other movies this year, so
exactly. He's good.
He can have a stinker once in a while. Stinker.
All right. You have a movie I reviewed a couple of episodes ago called The Accountant 2. Please tell me what you thought about this.
Yes. And back then I promised you I was going to get around to it. And it was so funny because that was as it was coming up and it got like released on streaming. I was like, "Oh, Val, finally we can watch it." And she's just like, "Oh, I don't want to watch it. I don't care." Like I didn't really like the first one. I was like, Oh my god, it's so funny because
I remember you dug the first one, right?
I loved
when
it.
you reviewed it a few episodes ago.
Yeah, it was. I think it was like last summer or something was the first time I ever watched it, and it was one
Yeah.
of those like I don't think I recalled it making a big splash when it hit theaters, but I feel like once
No,
it got
I
around
thought
on
in
home
theaters, I
video,
thought it was a mediocre fine movie, but when they
yeah,
announced this, everyone's like, "I love The Accountant," and I'm like, "What am I missing?" And then I rewatched it. I'm like, "Oh, that was a clever,
it's a
interesting movie."
solid movie. Yeah,
Yeah, but
the
this
biggest
one, woo-hoo,
yes, it is really good. I love that we're getting Affleck and Bernthal back together, as well as the agent Daniela
the woman who was hunting
Pineda.
him down, was it Detwire?
Yes.
No,
Um
Panetta. Yeah,
no
yeah.
no no no, no Cynthia Adai Robinson. Um
Mm.
and as well as some J.K. Simmons up in there.
I love
The
that opening, man. He was fantastic in that opening.
um this was a cool continuation, a cool way to bring the characters back. And I like that it's like he doesn't turn off. He keeps
Hmm.
going. Christian or Chris does not like this is just how he does business. Same with Brax. Like I love how they have these two widely different styles, but they almost have like their own language together. Like they know exactly what the other brother's gonna do. Um
They know how to push
it-
buttons on one another.
exactly. The interesting thing about this one though is so the intro for the first one, I think it was in a way a lot more intriguing in that you were still kind of feeling out what is this? Who is this guy? What's going on? How does he have all these skills and things? And I think that's what a lot of the charm the first one had is going on that journey to find out who he is. It's who the
Hmm.
two of them are too. I love that reveal. Like you start to
Oh
piece
yeah,
it
at the
together,
end.
but when you finally hit it, just like, oh fuck, that's great. So
And how far is Bernthal gonna kill his brother once we
right.
realize, or is he
I
gonna
mean
save
that
him?
like I love that at the end I was genuinely wondering whether or not that was going to happen. Um So my only mark against the sequel is that it's missing a little bit of that intrigue of getting to know them.
They overbuilt the world kind of with
Yes,
the syndicate and the kids. How'd you feel about that?
it got a little spread out, but I feel like if you're going to make a sequel to something like The Accountant, it needs to inflate quite a bit.
Mm.
And I think they kind of did that. If anything, I think it could have done more travel, really, like gone to more destinations and things. Although I did love seeing like that parking lot full of Airstreams, and my grandpa had an Airstream RV,
Hmm.
so I that thing just looks gorgeous to me. I think they're so cool. Um, I think it was. I mean, I love the characters. I like the journey they go on. I still think it was a rock solid movie. If you liked the first one, there's no reason to not watch the second one. I don't think it punches quite as hard, so that's why I'm giving it slightly less than the first one.
Fair enough.
So I'm gonna give on Amazon Prime right now, The Accountant 2. I'm gonna give 3 slices of toast, where I
Right,
believe
hey,
I gave
that's
the
not
first
bad.
one 3.5. So it's like
Now,
it's not that like I didn't dislike that much of it. It's just it didn't
just
quite punch me as hard as all.
just for the audience, could you just give them like a quick run through the elevator pitch of what this one's genuinely
So
about?
J.K. Simmons' character Raymond King, who was previously following Wolf's character, knowing that there's this mysterious accountant guy doing all this crazy work for these criminals all over the world, trying to track him down, and he's caught himself in this situation where he's realized he needs his help. So the only connection he knows he has to this guy. He's trying to go meet her because he's doing PI work because he's retired from the branch of the government he worked for before, and he's got this case he desperately wants help with, and he knows the accountant has the skill set to figure this shit out. And there's this father of this woman has sent a PI up to look for his daughter. They had left El Salvador years before. Yes, El Salvador years and years before to try to make their way through Mexico up to the United States. And over the course of the journey, unfortunately, her husband was shot and killed, and her son was taken away while she went missing. So this case that has been many years in the making now finally is going to be resolved. But unfortunately, spoiler alert, Unfortunately, the private investigator following this case is killed right away in the beginning of the movie. So the whole case is dumped in the lap of his the woman who he had hired in the first film, who'd taken over his job, and Chris Wolf and his brother Brax. So they've now joining forces, the law and the lawless coming together to find this missing woman and hopefully find her child.
Can I tell you the scene
elevatory?
That
it's like a 30
really stuck in my head?
Yeah,
I loved our introduction to John Bernthal's character in this, when he has this woman captured and he's just trying to have a conversation and he's giving fun facts about fucking the Wizard of Oz. I loved it. And the Lollipop Guild
felt that little motherfucker is getting paid twice as much as I am. Please don't hurt me. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? Come on, we're just talking. We're just talking. Like, I like it starting to show they gave his character more mannerism, like a little bit more for him to work with. It's like, oh, well, okay, so he has his own eccentricities too in his own way. The whole thing, the phone call
with the dog, trying to get the dog, right? I know you can give me that dog now.
2 weeks gonna make, yeah. It should be bonding with me instead of a mother. It's never gonna see again. No, I'm not yelling.
Love that.
You don't need to be like. That was so great. It still has so much charm. When they're hanging out on the top of the RV, the trailer. What is that? Sunscreen. Would you like some? Yeah. Boom. Just hucks it over there. Come on, let's go get fucked up. Come on, we're gonna go get fucked up.
Man.
Let's go get
I'm sorry. I know it's just me saying I love that. But the scene when he is just ready to kick ass for his brother at that bar, and that classic freeze frame of the window breaking and the guy coming out of it. Oh man. Wanted more of that. I love it.
No, it was a solid movie. I stand by my three slices, but 3 slices is not anywhere close to a bad movie. That is a highly recommend. Please go watch at that point. So I stand by it.
All right. Well, I'm going to talk about another movie that you can see currently in theaters. I'm talking about How to Train Your Dragon, the live action remake. All right. So this is basically the same story that we got 15 years ago. There's this small town of Vikings, and the main job is to go out and hunt and kill dragons. And the chief of the group, his son's kind of a screw up, and he's put into dragon slaying classes, and he doesn't want to kill dragons. And he finds a dragon that's injured and rehabs it, and the two bond, and he has to hide it from his family as he's moving up the ranks because he's learning what dragons like and dislike, and like just winning over all the people in his town. But I don't know, things are a little difficult because now he has to kill a dragon in front of everyone in the village. And he knows where this infamous island is where all the dragons kind of go and live. And his buddy that he now has, Toothless, can lead his family there, and they can kill all the dragons. By God, I love the animated movie. This is a fantastic saga of animated films. And this one is kind of the same. It adds a little bit more to it, fills in some gaps. And I will say, even though I know exactly what's happening, there were moments where I just was like, I was on the edge of my seat. I cried a couple of times watching it because of some stuff that was happening to characters and being like, oh shit, what's going to happen next? It really invoked emotions. And what's really cool here is we have Gerard Butler playing the same character he played in the movie. But not only that, but the director of the original movie has directed this movie because he was afraid someone else would come in and screw up his movie. So he kind of went in, kind of slightly improved it. And
quite the pedigree, yeah.
Yeah. And Nick Frost is kind of the teacher of these kids. And I believe in the animated movie, it was Craig Ferguson. But Nick Frost is electric. He's kind of like, feels like a cartoon character. He has like a missing arm, but he always has all these different attachments. Like one time it's a mallet, one time it's an axe, and this and that. And he's just kind of funny because he's kind of handicapped and training the kids. And our main character is played by Mason Thames. This kid's pretty good. He's pretty good. I miss the charm and charisma of Jay Baruchel. This kid's a little different. And his female counterpart is this character, Astrid, played by Nico Parker. She's fantastic.
Nice.
Of course, America Ferrera played her character in the movie, but this one, this character is portrayed more as kind of like a really a little bit more of a foil to Hiccup's character, our main character. And then the other kids, I didn't really buy. They were kind of weak, I think, except for one who was this kid, Julian Dennison. He's the kid from Hunt from the Wilder People, the kid in Deadpool 2, this like, I want to say New Zealand actor, always charming and delightful. He's in it. And the animation is stunning. These dragons look great. Watching them flying through the sky is visually appealing. It has great edits. The camera work is sleek. And the countryside that they film on for this island is just sexy. I really had a blast watching it. I'm going to give How to Train Your Dragon 3 slices of toast. Fun time. Even if you know and love the original, nice. I think there's something to know and love here. And I can't wait to see them remake the other movies.
Cool. Huh. Yeah. It looked interesting. I worked on the toy commercial for the toys for this movie. And it was the clips that they were using as reference for getting some of the shots and like for the hand model to get some of the mimic some of the flight patterns that are seen in the film. I just remember thinking like, it looks stunning, but I'm like, but I feel like I remember seeing all of this in the trailer for the first one. They're just showing like the trailer was almost the same what they had.
Yeah.
Dang. So it's satisfying to hear although all of that like translated like 1-to-1, they still had more to offer. So they
added more to the myth and the legend, and like it made a little more sense. Some of the stuff they did slightly longer. But like I said, I kind of like the animated one a little bit more because those actors brought a little bit more and had more time to develop their characters.
And they had the range and the experience to like put a lot of that into the voice of their characters. So,
and I guess I will say some of the wardrobe felt a little Spirit Halloween-ish to me. But not all of them, but some of them did.
Like it's because it's not like a real historical place and time, right? So it's like kind of playing fast and loose with. Like even the still you have here, it just kind of looks like he's got a long sleeve green t-shirt on.
Exactly. Yeah. And then like
it's 1970s fuzzy
this haircut he has. I'm like, why does he?
Oh yeah,
that? Because the character in the animated, it doesn't fucking matter. Come on, guys.
It was probably easier to render, so they gave him that haircut in the animated movie. Like,
right?
Smooth surface.
Except for the fucking hairstylist in this movie, they're like, you want a bowl cut? All right, fucking that's simple enough for me.
Just the bowl on his head and everything.
A little Dumb and Dumber action.
Yeah.
So definitely worth checking out
cool.
You like the franchise. I have something a little newer to do next. I have the latest Disney Pixar movie, Elio. I wasn't sure about this movie when I saw the first trailer with Guardians of the Galaxy 3 a year ago or 2 years ago. I think it was last year. But since then, they've done a complete change, and I really, really dug this film. All right, so essentially, it's about a little boy who doesn't feel like he fits in on Earth, and he wants to be abducted by aliens. People laugh at him. He's kind of an outcast. But when he actually ends up becoming abducted by aliens and his dreams are coming true, he's kind of stuck in the middle of an intergalactic battle, per se, and he has a chance to kind of live in space with these aliens as long as he can kind of bring peace. So he goes and kind of makes a friend, something he has never done on Earth. And let me note saying that he is recently orphaned and his aunt is taking care of him, an aunt who is in the military and was trying to become an astronaut, and she's trying her best with him. But he can tell that he's kind of holding her back, and he thinks it'd be better if he was giving her a chance to do what she wants.
God, brutal.
And there's a lot. And then, of course, the friend that he makes is the enemy, the main guy who's attacking our good aliens. There is the son of the bad guy, and the son doesn't want to be evil and kill people like his dad, and he thinks his dad hates him because he's soft, and so he's like, all right, yeah, I'll help you with your mission. And by God, there was a scene towards the end of the movie that was just so beautiful, and yeah, we've seen this type of thing done before. But I felt like Brad Garrett is the villain, who's the dad of the son that he's ashamed of, and this character who we think hates his son, has a very beautiful moment with his son at the end, and it brought tears to my eye, honestly. And it was just a very beautiful movie, and the animation I loved. I thought it looked, for a movie, Pixar animated movie, I felt like it was very lifelike. Yeah, it was cartoony, the character designs and aliens, but there was this richness to the camera work and darkness, and like it just had this very cinematic gleam that I was in awe of the whole time. And it just, something about it like had a little bit of edge compared to other stuff, and it was more original and unique, I think, than some of the stuff we got before in the past couple of Pixar movies. Because I feel like Pixar has been on this kick of trying to redo and get the spirit of like fucking Inside Out and other forms. I felt like with Soul and Elemental, and of course Inside Out 2. And this feels like they're reaching a little bit more, and I liked it. And there's a mid-credit scene that I like, and then at the very end, there's past the credits, when you think it's over, when we see the Disney title card come up, there's something at the end that's essentially teasing the next Pixar movie that's not connected to this, but it's very interesting what they do there.
Just a classic. Oh yeah, when studios would just like, and here's the next movie that we're gonna release. Like,
yeah, and it's just a character from the next movie and something benign, unrelated, but it's like, oh, I'm kind of happy I saw that. That's kind of cool.
Oh, that's fun.
Now I will say, I've heard other people reviewing this movie. They hate it. They think the animation's terrible. They feel like the story's been done a million times. And I disagree 100%. I'm going to give Elio 3.5 slices of toast. I had a great time. I had a blast watching it. Yeah.
Well, cool.
Definitely. You a new movie that's over on Amazon Prime that I recently watched as well, but I'll let you do the heavy lifting and I'll jump in a little bit. Deep cover.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. I love tag teaming reviews with you, man. So yeah, this is a hot new release from Amazon Prime, as Adam said, deep cover. This has got a hilarious and interesting cast. Nick Mohammed, Orlando Bloom, Bryce Dallas Howard, Sean Bean, and Patty Kozadine
from Hot Fuzz. Man, we were talking about him earlier.
Oh, it's funny. I almost forget he was in Hot Fuzz because I still have House of the Dragon like right here in the the back of my head.
Yeah.
Which I loved his decline and just the disfigurement, and that was so great. He was fucking killer in that.
And don't forget Ian McShane as well.
Oh, and yes, of course, Ian McShane. Jesus. Going back to John Wicky things earlier. But so this is telling the story of an actress who hasn't quite hit her stride yet, who she's running a improv comedy class, like introductory class. Nick Mohammed's character, he works at this very corporate office where he's not respected by anyone, and he's clearly struggling to make them keep friends. Then you got Orlando Bloom's character, who is a very failed actor that his only claim to fame
the Pizza Prince or Knight.
The Pizza Knight. He's the mascot for a local pizza chain that he doesn't respect himself like that he does this. And he puts way too much effort into his auditions and way too much backstory. Like I love that opening scene of he's auditioning for an erection pill that he's trying to give all this gritty backstory.
And he's off book, really adding something that he thinks they want. And they're like, could you
just say the slogan?
A little different.
Just say the slogan. So anyways, you have these three who they all cross paths, come together at this improv acting group where Sean Bean approaches Bryce Dallas Howard's character and, look, I'm a cop. We have this program where we take improv actors and we can use you for these sting operations and we could pay you gig to gig. One thing leads to another. They find themselves so deep into this criminal organization it is
all they had to do initially was go in and get illegal cigarettes, and they went too fucking far with their job.
Give me a little bit. Bye, see ya. That's just I didn't stop laughing through the whole movie.
And it could have been done terribly.
I had zero expectation other than just like, okay, I know I like these people. This sounds like a fun setup. When you got that badass 70s title card when that finally hits, like 15 minutes into
half
the
an
movie.
hour into the movie, I had to pause to check. I was like, "Whoa, this is ballsy! I love it."
I gotta say, I was so surprised by this movie. I mean, I couldn't look away. I was so engrossed into watching this. It is hilarious. The action is actually pretty awesome. And for a lot of people that don't like, with the exception of Orlando Bloom, of our main three here, not a whole lot of action between the three of them. I mean, holy shit, I had such a good time. And it takes some twists. There's some turns in here that I genuinely didn't see coming. There's the old Sean Bean joke might come up in this movie.
But the way it happens, wow.
Oh my god.
If it happens.
That
character, let's talk about Sonia Mizuno, the villain lady who has kind of this kind of interest and intrigue in Nick Muhammad's character and the relationship that's fun. I was like, I love this. It kind of works for it.
All three of them, I wanted them to get everything that they were experiencing, and like this whole new lease on life. The birthday party at the club.
Like,
knocking
running
out the
into
fucking
the friends.
Everything about that scene was
cocaine.
great. He's doing 3 fucking lines of coke. I don't. Oh yeah, that's real. That's real. It was.
How do they know those other ones aren't?
That's
even when Orlando Bloom runs his mouth and says the dumbest shit, when people call him out, he just doubles down and really fucks with people. And it's like, all right,
so good.
Man.
It was charming, funny, and had me on the edge of my seat at times too. I'm unashamedly say I'm surprised. This is one of my favorite movies so far this year.
It's good.
I like, as I'm watching this, I'm like, fuck, I can't think of anything bad to say. Like I can't think of anything that I'm disliking at any given moment. Even the times where like it seems like there should be some continuity things, they never really came up because of the pace of how we kind of jump through time at
movie.
times.
I think like an hour and 49 minutes, but it flies by.
It really does. It really does. I honestly, I had a really good time watching this movie.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna be telling other people about this. Like, it's
when I watched the trailer, I'm like, this could be great or it could be dog shit. And I'm happy to say it wasn't dog shit. It really, and it took place in London. So to me, it was like, oh, this is a pretty nice, different type of location than we're used to seeing in these movies.
Yeah. And Bryce Dallas Howard's been behind the camera for so long. It was really nice to see her front and center again. And she still fucking has it, man. Like, not that there was ever a doubt, but like, she's such a multi-talented filmmaker that it's present front, behind the camera, producing the genetics are clearly present. He has got that. I mean, I would almost argue even more so because her father didn't act for as long as she has. So,
well, he acted back in the Andy Griffith Show, Happy Days. He was doing it, but he's kind of given it up over the years.
Exactly, like it's ebbed and flowed, his actual acting versus
like she comes and goes. She'll do a TV show. She'll do this and that documentary. She'll act. She even took time off for a while, I think.
I think you're right. It shows just her talent blows in this film.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready to slice this thing if you are, man.
What you got? Yeah, for sure.
You know what? I'm gonna do it. I feel like I'll get judgment for this, but 4 slices. There's just nothing bad I have to say about this, and it's like this will be the movie. I feel like when people ask, all right, so what should I go? What should I see right now? I with confidence would be like, watch Deep Cover because I'm pretty sure you haven't because it's not one that you're hearing about, and I think you're gonna have a great time. This is like.
I'm not gonna lie, I was not planning on reviewing this movie, but I did watch it when it first came out. And when you said Deep Cover, I'm like, yeah, I'll get to talk about it. Because I did shoot a little video for YouTube, but actually being able to talk to you about it, I'm like, thank God, this is good. It felt nice actually talking to someone about it because, like you said, nobody's really talking about this movie. I had a good time. I think I'm going to give it 3 slices myself.
Okay,
but I do understand the merit behind yours, and you haven't given any 4 slices this season, I don't think, or this year. So
I think that's my first one. Yeah. I had so much fun watching it. To the point to where like I was trying to get laundry done. I told my wife I would get done before she got back home from her work trip. I set that aside. It's like, wait a minute, no, I gotta finish watching this first. This is great.
Nice.
Don't worry, the laundry will be done. I promise.
Fucking liar. That's awesome, man.
It's drying right now.
Cool. Oh, well, there we go. Fantastic. I have one more movie left for this episode, if you don't mind. Speaking of Alex Garland, the director of Warfare, which you talked about earlier, he wrote this next movie, and it's directed by Danny Boyle. I'm talking about 28 Years Later. All right, now I gotta start off by saying I love 28 Days Later, man. I had a bootleg copy of it back in the day before it came out in America, because I was a little pirate as a kid, and since then I've made up for it, folks. I don't pirate shit anymore. I see every movie in theater that comes out, like literally every movie paid for. I paid for my sins. I atone. And 28 weeks later, I was like, I don't remember it. I felt like I didn't care for it as much. So going into this, I was intrigued because I'm like, all right, the trailer looks stunning. The cast is phenomenal, and there's been some time and separation from it. So to have the original writer, original director come back, that says something about it. And of course, we talked about how this was shot on an iPhone, and that's ballsy and incredible. So I had to check it out. Sorry, I know that's a lot to get out.
That crazy rig. Those photos of that fucking rig they were filming the cameras like. That looks nuts.
Right?
Hey, folks, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend look at some of those behind the scenes photos of this film, and that camera rig is unique to say the least.
Oh yeah. So this movie starts off with a bang. Essentially, if you've seen the trailer, there's some kids watching Teletubbies, and a fucking outbreak and attack happens, and it's like, holy fuck, no one's safe. And then it jumps to 28 years later, and it picks up with Craven the Hunter has a young child, and clearly it's the day that his child is becoming a man because he's taking him. They live on this quarantined island that everyone's kind of safe, and it's a rite of passage when you hit a certain age to take your son to the mainland to walk on a causeway that's leads to a mainland to get the first kill of the infected, not the zombie. They make it very clear they're not zombies, they're infected, even though they look and act like zombies. And at home, the son's mother is sick, played by Jodie Comer perfectly, and they don't know what's wrong with her. She seems to be kind of hallucinating. She's not eating. She has fevers. She's kind of has momentary lapse. She forgets things. And so that's the kid's main priority. He's worried about his mother. And everyone's like, this kid's a little too young to go out there. But the dad's like, no, he's doing it. And they go out there, and the kid is a little shaky. He gets one kill of an easy infected person, and then he really can't pull the trigger later. Him and his dad get stuck out there one night. They're ambushed. They get back to town. There's a big party for the kid. The kid sees his father cheating with someone else, and this ruins the kid's parade. And then he goes home, and he tells like the guy who was watching his mother trying to take care of her, yeah, when we're there, we saw fire on the other side of the land, and I don't know who it was. And the guy's like, oh, that's blah, blah, blah. He's a doctor. He used to be my primary care doctor. And the kid's like, doctor? Like he's never heard of a doctor before. He's like, yeah, back in the day, there were these people called doctors. They could heal people and fix things. And he's like, oh, could that guy take care of my mother? And he's like, yeah, probably. And so the kid's pissed off at his dad. When his dad's out one day, he takes his mother to the mainland, and she is kind of out of it. And it's a journey of a son and his mother trying to find the doctor. And this kid who essentially new to killing the infected has to kind of save his mother, and they get in some tricky situations. And then they find the doctor. Sorry, that's a lot I'm throwing out there at you, but it kind of feels like two separate movies, essentially.
I was going to say, it sounds like two whole stories.
Oh, yeah. Happening. Two completely different stories. And they kind of look and feel different. Interesting. And shot in an iPhone, not as impressive as I thought it would be. This movie, essentially, to me, looked like a bootleg movie in and of itself. Some scenes looked stunning and beautiful, but most looked muted, kind of choppy. You could tell it's digital. There's some scenes that look like unrendered footage almost. You can tell there's a lot of ADR here.
Wasn't the first one shot on like some early digital cameras too?
Yeah, it was like,
So,
yeah.
do you think that was why he made this
Definitely.
decision to try to make it feel like that again?
I think so. And
It
I
just doesn't.
respect that, but it doesn't
Yeah.
have that Phelan charm that movie had.
The grain and like that pixelation that like the things that old DV cameras would do.
And I'm
An
not gonna lie,
iPhone's not gonna do.
it worked and looked perfectly in the opening scene, which took place 28
Uh-huh.
years ago when that first movie took place. I'm like, this is beautiful. This is great. This is where it belongs. But when we cut to later on, I'm like, honestly, there's too much story going on. They couldn't decide what to put in this one movie, even though this is supposed to be the beginning of a new trilogy of films. They've already shot the second, but they haven't even got funding for the third yet. And they're trying so much, throwing so much at the audience here. And honestly, this feels more like a student film with a giant budget and a grand cast. Like someone's won an award and like, here's a cast, here's a budget, go make a movie. Honestly, that's what it reminded me of. I was so let down by this movie. And like I said, fantastic.
Oh man.
Yeah. But it just did not do it for me. And then the very end, the last scene of the movie was a total bonkers 360 that connects to the beginning of the movie. Now, let me tell you, I'm not going to tell you exactly what happens, but the beginning of the movie, when all these kids are being slaughtered, one kid runs up to his room and, he runs away. And then before he goes off on his journey, he goes to his room and gets some belongings. And he has a little Power Rangers toy. And it's like, oh, this kid's a fan of Power Rangers. And I think he takes this one. I'm like, wonder if that's going to pay off. The end of the movie, it does in a very interesting manner that is almost laughable, but almost intriguing enough to be like, what the fuck is going on in this next movie? And there's some grim, creepy, weird things. Now, I'm not going to say that I hated the movie. I didn't like it as much as I wanted to. Would I watch it again? Probably not. But it had some genuinely good moments. Like these creatures, the infected, looked cool. They did some stuff I've never seen before with zombies. There were some visually interesting kills. Like when they kill them, there's this weird like 360 slow-mo freeze frame things happening. I'm like, all right, that's weird. Then there's like these weird interstitials of like infrared cameras of the infected people. And the stuff that the doctor does, Ralph Fiennes.
Nice.
And the stuff he does is kind of interesting and intriguing. And he does some things with dead corpses that I'm like, oh wow, that's weird. That's like there's some interesting elements here. Some powerful performance. Like this young kid is pretty good. He sells the movie. Nice. Jodie Comer is fantastic. Aaron Taylor Johnson not in it as much as I had expected. And he's great as a slimeball asshole dad who's trying to kind of make his kid a man. But overall, this movie was just a disaster, in my opinion. I'll see the next one, but I don't really know. Ask. Yeah. I like it's so bonkers and insane what happens at the very end that I'm like, I got to see what happens next, I guess. But it doesn't feel like it's going to be on par with what we just watched. I'm going to give 28 years later 1 3/4 slices of toast.
Okay.
It's just such a weird movie that I feel like they just kind of, I know it's weird because it's been years and years since our last one, but it feels rushed. Feels like they could have just kind of mainlined and streamlined. If you made it the first movie about the kid with his dad, a whole movie, second movie about the kid and the mom, whole movie, could have been done if they took their time as their own feature standalone movies, and then whatever the fuck happens in the next, sure. But they compress it all into this. How long is this movie? Right. An hour and 55 minutes. And I was just so over it. Another movie where I'm like, just fucking end. Please end. I want it to be done with. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Bad.
Yeah, I've heard other people give stellar reviews, so I might be in a minority here. But I don't know. Just wasn't for me. Could be for you. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Like, I got to go back and rewatch the first two anyways. It's been so long.
They finally just released the first one on, I think, Tubi. It's been unavailable to stream anywhere. You couldn't even rent it or buy it. But for me, I'm like, I don't want to watch commercials, but I do want to watch that movie again because rumor has it Cillian Murphy returns in the next one. I was waiting this whole movie. I'm like, is he coming in this?
Right, like that was that release or that leak of like he was talking about the movie, only to now it was like, oh well, you shot something, but yeah, if it turns out it's 29 years later or whatever the fuck they're gonna call it the next one.
And that's the other thing. This movie goes from the first day and then cuts to 28 years, and it hasn't even been 28 years since the first movie. Whatever, I can look past that. It's a fucking movie, but after. Right before the very end, it does a cut to 28 days later, and it's like, what? Why? Do that in the next movie. Call the next movie 28 days later, not, I think it's 28 years later, Mountain or some bullshit. I'm like, why would you do that time jump at the very end of this movie? Just, I don't know.
Huh.
And then, like I said, some wacky, crazy, I really want to talk about with someone this very end scene because I'm like, that's a movie I'd watch. Not what I expected, but I'd watch. So that's why I'll go see the next one.
Fair enough.
Sorry, that was a long take. I haven't done any mini reviews on that yet, so just getting my thoughts out for the first one.
Oh, yeah.
But I will say, I have two people have texted me about how is the movie, and I had to tell them, it's not great. And one of them, of course, has seen it and agreed. And then the other person says they're going to see it, but I'm like, just wait till it comes out on streaming because you might be disappointed if you really dug the first two. I don't know. Judge for yourself, folks. That's what we always say. We're not always on the pulse of things.
No,
some people
it's
dislike.
Yeah. It's not necessarily, it's not always an effort to try to deter you from seeing something so much as like, this is just how we felt after watching it.
Yeah.
How does it compare to your reaction? Without telling you the end plot of the movie. So, well, all right, man.
This movie. Yes. But that will wait until you see the movie, and we can talk about it. And time will hopefully have gone by, so I won't be spoiling for the audience.
There you go.
Yeah. So that's gonna do it for reviews, folks. Thank you. And if you have seen these movies and you agree or disagree, please let us know. I want to hear from you. We'll tell you where to find us in a bit. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, of course.
I jumped ship a little bit. I
thought
far on that.
What's funny is like that's what I was in my head's like, oh wait, fuck, which one do we do first? I'm trying to remember. I'm sorry, folks.
Fuck it, let's do it, folks. All right. You can tell us what you feel if you disagree or if you agree and why you agree or why you disagree at movie_toast on Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube. Or wherever, man. We're everywhere. Or email us at movietoastnewsandreviews@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. We never hear from anybody, really. So I do it. Be a trendsetter.
And then if you could at least... Oh, yeah. Well, you were trying to transition, and I yank it out from under you.
You're going, man.
So at least you want to let us know what you think of the show, either the podcast or ideally the podcast, given where it is. Please go over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. We just want to know what you think. Get the show as golden, delicious, buttery, toasty as we possibly can for you fine fans of the movie Toast.
Yes. And
we got a little thing happening in December, though. Little
that's
thing.
For sure. A big thing in our book. This is the biggest event of the year for us, man.
That's right.
5 fucking times we've done this, man. Annual Movie Toast, the festival. You want to give the folks a rundown of what this festival is?
This is a short film festival that streams on YouTube each December. You can submit your short films to filmfreeway.com/movietoastthefestival. We are accepting short films of 15 minutes or less, and that is a hard 15 minutes or less. Please don't bother submitting your features or your 45-minute thing.
We want your money, but we don't want to steal your money because we're not going to watch those. We don't got time.
You've got plenty of warning. Just know if it's longer than that, we can't accept it. We need to like this show has been anywhere from 2.5 to 3 hours in the past. So we gotta try to get as many wonderful short films as we can in there. We have submissions and winners from around the world. From any genre you could think of. We accept, and it's not any one specific thing because we love that variety that you folks have to offer. There's so many incredibly and talented filmmakers that we've spoke to, and we honestly just have a lot of fun watching everyone's work. So please, if you have a film or you know someone who has a short film, go head over to filmfreeway.com/movietoastthefestival and submit as soon as you can. It's cheapest when you do it earlier, but it's only a few dollars, and it only goes up by a couple of bucks. But don't wait till too long because there is a hard cutoff in the fall.
It's coming up.
We need that time to get the show made for you guys.
And we're not just handing out laurels, man. If you got the best of the best movies in the festival, Dennis makes a handcrafted golden toaster that he mails out to you, and it's pretty impressive.
If you want your shot at the golden toaster reward, you got to submit, and you please do it soon. We also nominate laurels to varying departments depending on the intake of films and stuff. We've done slightly different titles over the years, from different best of this genre or that, or cinematography, writing, directing, and so forth. All of these aspects are coalesced together to make a great film, as we all know. So it's great to give all of those individuals the recognition that they deserve. So please, and say you don't have a film, come check out the show with us.
It's free. You're not going to spend any money to watch.
And you can sit at home or ride the bus and pop it up on your phone or whatever. It'll stream on YouTube. It's just a fun time. We'll be there live chatting with those who are also watching, and we just like to make it a fun time. So keep an eye out on the socials for the date, though, or filmfreeway.com. The stream date of the festival will be there.
And at all our socials, that's where you're going to find them. Once again, folks, it's at movie_toast. Pretty much any social media platform that you choose. But say you don't want to tell us what you think about certain movies. You don't want to tell us what you think about the show. You don't want to enter your film into our festival. There's one thing that we always ask that benefits you, and it's free, and it's simple to do, folks. And that is to please
stay toasty.
Stay toasty. I feel like that's the best one we've done.
Reviewing new movies, they keep it real. Coast to coast, from LA to the east. On the podcast show, they feast on the beast. Adam's bringing knowledge like he's Professor X. Dennis with cuts deeper than Wolverine's claws. I guess Marvel, DC, they know them all by heart. Breaking down the plot, tearing every scene apart. They got the juice like Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. Breaking down movies with a sharp precision. Adam coming in hot like a John Wick hit. Dennis bringing the heat like the climax of a Tarzan flick.
Oh, wow. Whew. I know you're going to get going, sorry, but I don't know. It's only 68, but I am sweating my ass off. So I don't even know what it's like for you right now. I bet
it's funny as me
I
too.
saw you with the rag.
But it's not like,
I don't know what it is. This crazy heat.
Is it right now? I don't know.
But
62, it's 62 here, but shit, it feels like a lot warmer than that. My AC is not doing shit. And
how'd it go? Was Emmy okay? Like I didn't see her pop into frame ever.
She did. She wandered in here a few times. I'm sure I've got it messed me up. So
sorry for keeping you so long, man.
Oh no.
Thank you.
I was
happy that we were able to get it in.
Yeah, of course. It's always that thing of I just like always better once we get into the groove.
Yeah. You gotta get those jitters out and whatnot, but normally we'd rant a little bit and talk about something dumb here, but I know you got to get going, so
I got a pup to take care of, folks. But thank you for joining us, and please join us next time, and keep an eye out for any other fun little tidbits available online.
Peace.
See you.